Hi, Michael.
Hello.
Hi. All
Uh,
right, I'm glad you joined.
I
You
have to
should be
change
able to
brow-
see the screen.
I have to change browsers because the stupid browser doesn't. There's something interaction with Zoom. All I see is red icons and black background.
Oh,
I'll be back.
okay.
Uh, yeah, now I see it all.
Okay, great.
All I saw was the black background, that red PDF icon, and that blue document icon on the left. Everything else was black.
Oh, oh,
I don't know
okay.
why. It only seems to be some Zoom meetings with Firefox.
Oh, okay.
Other Zoom meetings are fine. I don't know what I don't know what
Yeah.
they did.
I'm gonna keep my video off because when I
Yeah, turning it
also
off. Yeah.
when I run confidential VMs, sorry, not confidential. When I run VMs under hypervisor, my uh, webcam driver blue screens my box. So I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
It's only when I have Hyper-V. All right. So I made a number of changes because you wanted to detail the protocol. So what I wanted to do with you right now is basically go accept some of the changes that I made or discuss others. So
Okay.
if you see where I'm at, by the way, let me put this link in the chat such that you can. We're actually very
I
close.
think it have it. I think I have it anyway. I think
Well,
I
just in
even have
case.
it open
And
somewhere.
yeah, I'm gonna add you to the meeting minutes so you don't have to do it yourself. Okay. So going back to this, all right, so we're gonna have three modes: credential broker, key broker, and credential authority, right? And I detailed what they are below, but you get a pre-provisioned credential, or you get a pre-provisioned key, or you get a newly minted credential. That's basically the three variants that I believe we have to have. Any comments?
No, sounds good to me. Yep.
All right, so I'm going to accept these changes. Now, um, I had a comment here under conventions and terminology. We don't need to answer it now, but as you create the final version in GitHub, anything, I'm just wondering if there's anything under conventions and terminology that is not boilerplate. But let's move on for now.
Yeah, I think that's something to come back at the end of the document to think about whether we
Yeah. Okay.
what do we get
Also,
right.
this, whether we want to talk about credential bootstrapping, as any bootstrapping that needs to happen before the tester can do its thing. Like, for instance, for replica workloads, we talked about how we're going to create one set of credentials that are just going to be given to each attesting workload that is a replica. But again, let's leave that for
I think that in there, for the case that number one, um actually number two, I think that we need to have a piece of where we discuss the fact that the original credential, how is it created? Like it could be that we're always that we do um
let's get to the details of the protocol and we can come
yeah,
back
no, I'm
because
just saying
this,
I think that we're going to have to say how the before it can be shared with the attester, it needs to be created. And so we needed some discussion of why that's difficult, who is doing it, and um that's part of the motivation for why we don't just repeat that each time.
okay, so let's come back to that and just see,
Yeah, let's come back to that. I
because
agree.
again,
I'm
I'm
just
not removing it. Like I still have a to do. We'll still remember. There is another
yeah.
comment here. Other than key broker, and credential authority, are there any other mechanisms? I mean, if we find them, we can add them. But
No, I think that it's it, and I actually think that I'm not sure that holding up the three different paths at this point is actually that important.
Well,
Like what I'm saying,
unfortunately, I believe it is because they are so different.
well, that's what I'm sort of disagreeing with. I'm saying yes, but also like I'm saying that those are like the three faces of Shiva, right? Um, yeah, they look completely different, but actually it's the same
Well,
god
if you're going to
underneath.
talk about, again, once we get into the protocol details, for instance, I want to
Well,
also
that's
show.
but what I'm trying to say is that it's what I'm trying to say is that it's maybe this isn't the headline that there's three ways. Maybe that's not the headline. The headline is that um a thing is relayed and um is used. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like it doesn't matter how I get your car keys. What matters is that they start your car.
Well, I mean, maybe, but we kind of already go through that here.
Yeah. All right.
So we're already saying relying party can act in one of these three modes, and we can reread all of it. Okay, let's actually get into the protocol itself. So uh, here we're basically saying. So again, I'll just accept this because in case we add additional
Yeah, it's
mechanisms, we
fine.
can
Yeah,
come
I don't
back to that.
mind. I'm fine with
I
all the things.
Right. So we and by the way, so let me explain why, like, it's very, very important that we cover. I do not know, like, the manner in which we cover and the order, but by the time the reader is finished reading this document, they will be in one of several camps that today don't talk to each other. There is a camp of
Oh,
people who like short-lived bearer tokens. Okay,
okay.
I hate them, but they are so pervasive, and in fact, even Google uses them for some of their stuff with confidential, environments. So I can't ignore them.
Well, I think
So
I believe, and I spent hours yesterday dealing with Java key store bullshit. Okay, I believe they're suffering from PTSD.
yeah, well, but the
All
but
right,
the point is we can add to the security considerations basically an admonition, don't do it. But I you know
it's better
I
this
still
way. If
have
you
to
have to do it,
reflect.
it's better this way. Yes, I
I
agree with you.
still have to reflect the real world because otherwise we are not making progress.
Yeah.
So anyway, so here I'm saying, okay, so key broker mode is there is a cryptographic key returned. What kind of key we don't say. It could be signing key, encryption key, encrypted to an attester. The tester held an asymmetric key encryption key. Maybe I should
Yeah.
capitalize key encryption key. So that's the first mode.
I sorry,
Um,
late.
Oh, it's all right. Hi, Hank. So we're going through the details of the protocol because we already sort of have the diagram, and we're just
In
going
key
to.
broker mode, is that an explicitly a symmetric key?
No,
No.
it doesn't matter. There are
Okay,
actually
I
two
just
variants.
because
So
you're talking about you're talking about a bearer token, and I'm just trying to,
well,
yeah,
also
okay,
shared keys. So there are bearer tokens and there are shared keys. So okay, so I'm making distinction between two main separators. In one case, you get the attester gets a key. In the other mode, the attester gets a credential. The credential could be pre-existing or freshly minted. The credential could be bearer or proof of possession.
yeah,
Okay, so there are all these variants, and I'm trying to sort of kernel map them. But so again, there is a broker mode, which could be key broker, credential broker, and this means that somebody else, not the rest relying party, but somebody else already has the key or credential, and the relying party effectively helps you get at that thing. And there
yes,
is a credential authority mode where a new credential is actually minted for you. And again,
yes,
the credential could be a bearer token or it could be a proof of possession credential. These are all the modes which I'm trying to cover here. Why did you bold this?
because you talked about the fact that they were into that thing a lot, and it was hard for me to see that the bearer token lives in that space. I mean,
Hmm.
it could be, yeah,
Because again, a token is a credential, but a key is a key. So like if you give it back a shared key,
I
then you're in a
agree.
key
So
broker mode.
I don't understand the difference between key broker and credential broker mode. Is
Okay.
it that in number one, is it that I only the only the key is encrypted and the credential is already possessed? So in asymmetric stuff, I'm giving you the private key, but the certificate that went with it already was
Yeah.
available, or
Okay,
is that
so we'll get to that. We'll get to that once we actually go through
okay?
this diagram. Okay, so this is just a summary. So I want to, for one, uh, uh, the credential broker doesn't give you bearer tokens. So I'll explain why I took this out. It's because I do not like while I'm including short-lived bearer tokens in this, I am dead set at this point against long-lived bearer tokens. Okay, so
Okay.
if you're going to get a bearer token, it's going to be short-lived and freshly minted. And I have not encountered anyone today that uses long-lived bearer tokens with confidential computing, and that would be
Okay.
really bad. So that's why this is why I took that out.
Okay.
Okay,
All right. Let's
and
go. Continue. Yeah.
and then I basically make a distinction between a proof of possession credential and a short-lived bearer token. Okay, so either it's a proof of possession credential and you need a signing key, or or you're just getting a short-lived bearer token, but then you can only use it for a short period of time. So, but let's now jump into the protocol itself.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
all of that is okay. We'll come back to
Yeah.
you. So
And just a
here,
second, just a second comment here. So bearer token is a token we have to swallow because it is in some areas of application that we think we want to address unavoidable, correct?
well, yeah, it also matches some of the practices like Google does it, unfortunately.
Okay,
So
yeah,
I can't
that
just
yeah,
close my
no
eyes to
comment.
it.
Exactly. So because it is used, we can't ignore it. It's not great, but that's just us. Okay. Go.
Correct.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right,
Thanks.
so we have effectively, under the details of the protocol, we have three variants. So three main variants, and two of the variants have subvariants. So there's 1A, 1B, there is 2, and there is 3A and 3B. And this is what I'm going through. And the columns are, so this is your variant. This is what the attester does. This is what the attester generates and tests. So there's some kind of a key. By the way, we should probably reference there is like a RATS key binding spec. How do you bind a key to an attester? I mean, maybe these two are aligned, but you have a key that the attester generates and attests, and this is so that it can receive a something bound to it, and this is what the RATS relying party returns in that mode. So again, RATS relying party acting as a key broker or as a credential broker or a credential authority. So this is the summary, right? So 1A, 1B, 2, etc. And under here, there is a variant 1. So, and here I say 1A, and then I say 1B. So this is the text we need to review today. So perhaps let's start with the variant 3, credential authority mode, because it's probably the easiest. So in the credential authority mode, you can have variant A and B. The first one is credential authority is for proof of possession credentials. So this is workload identity tokens, X509 certificate. In this case, the attester first generates a key signing key. Credential signing key. And effectively does an attested CSR where the newly minted proof of possession credential matches the CSK is returned.
So
And
why don't we mention CSR here? I think that would
I,
help the reader a lot.
I think I do later on.
I
Yeah,
don't
but
think
not on the
it's
table. Yeah, sorry.
I
Yeah.
mentioned it here.
Yeah.
So, okay, so there's a table with just a summary, and then there's actual verbose. So that's basically I just walked you through
yeah.
this,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
Okay.
3B.
And so then either or I generate an asymmetric token encryption key, and then that's encrypted to that. So that's asymmetric, and then I have a newly minted bearer token encrypted with TEK. So okay.
Okay, and then
So in
again, the way you
3A, I enroll this credential signing key with something
yes,
like a CSR.
basically yes. But
Okay. In
like the credential
3B,
signing key lives inside the T, never leaves the T, and nobody can ever see it. So the credential
yeah.
needs to be for you.
And in 3B, I generate a similar key, but instead of getting back a certificate or equivalent, I get back something encrypted to it.
Yes. I just get well.
And
It's just a way to get this. It's a way to avoid a relay attack, right? So this
yeah,
way,
I understand why. I'm trying to think. Okay, so both cases I create. So in 3B, is this an can this be an EK? A TPM EK, if that's what I have.
it's normally gonna be a jot.
Okay.
All right, so it's gonna be a jot, but not a jot that requires proof of possession. It's just again a short-lived web token that exists because it exists out in the world, and until it dies, we have to document it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
again,
So I'm going to use a jot, but that's still going to be within the TEE.
it's going to be targeted for the TEE, right?
Yeah.
So the attestation results contain the public portion of the asymmetric encryption key. So once you mint the token at the credential authority, you encrypt that credential to that encryption key and send it back, and that gives you the guarantee that only the attester can decrypt it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now
Yeah.
once the attester uses it, all bets are off, but hopefully it's short-lived.
Yeah.
So, and of course, I need to. I was late last night where I was doing it. So please read these two paragraphs because that covers variant 3. That's the credential authority mode. So here I mentioned that it's similar to the tested CSR protocol, and I don't know if it's worth mentioning. Hank, can you tell me? So what the attester creates an asymmetric credential signing key, includes a public portion in evidence during remote attestation. The RATS relying party acting as a credential authority means a brand new proof of possession credential, and returns it to the attester. And then in variant 3B, you just get a jot.
So you write two separate things. You say CSR and then CSK kind of matches and then evidence. So your CSR is effectively evidence? Is that what I'm reading here?
Effectively. I mean, you may
Yeah, you should spell that out.
yes, your CSR or your evidence is the CSR or whatever, but somehow they're related. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to spell that out. That the evidence acts includes the capabilities of a CSR.
Okay. How would you say it?
Yeah, something to that extent.
I think the question is, are you?
Yeah.
I think part of the question is, are you putting the evidence in the CSR because we have a spec for that, or are you doing like an attested EST because that's a different thing?
Well, I mean,
I
we can
think.
list both
Sorry.
possibilities if they exist.
Well, no, but they do different things and they have different properties, and you can actually mix and match them for reasons. But anyway, let's continue. I think
Well,
that's
we can make a comment because again, we still have a couple of weeks to decide on the precise meaning. At this point in time, I just want to do like a first pass.
I need to understand why there's 3 variations and not 2. But
Well,
continue.
okay. So the reason
Yeah.
there are
So no,
three.
continue. Don't jump
All
into
right.
that. I'm just telling you that's where I need to be, and that's where I'm trying to get to
Okay.
understanding this. Okay.
Fair enough. But
And
to start answering your question, this mode, the credential authority mode, in this case, every credential returned to the tester is a freshly minted credential.
yes, I got that.
Okay, that's it.
That's I don't have not having a problem with that. I I I understand why it's 3A and 3B. I might even make it 3 and 4, but I'm happy with the way it is there. That's
Okay.
fine.
Let's
Okay.
now do number 2. So credential broker is specifically for proof of possession credentials. It excludes bearer tokens.
Okay.
And the reason it excludes bearer tokens is short-lived bearer tokens are covered by 3B, and long-lived bearer tokens are bad. And I just don't want them.
All right.
But they
Yes.
could be. Technically, they could be.
So I don't want to have a long-lived bearer token that I am brokering, is what you're
Yes,
saying. I always want only short-lived ones that I make
yes.
and send to
Yeah, they're
you.
effectively burned on use. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So they're
So
always
here,
unique. They're always unique per workload
per
too.
attester. Yeah. So there is
Yeah.
an asymmetric key encryption key, which is the same as the token encryption key, but it's an asymmetric key encryption key, some sort of RSA key. And then the RATS relying party returns a proof of possession credential, so called a PPC, and credential signing key, which is the CSK for this PPC, and that's encrypted with the key KEK.
Are you reinventing ESGs to some extent here, or because the PPC is required, or what's the
Well,
add-on?
because you're so a credential broker, right? A credential broker means there is a credential somewhere that already exists. It doesn't have to be, so it's not
Mm.
newly minted, it's existing. And what it does, the relying party, is that once it returns your attestation, verifies that your or like looks at the attestation results. In the attestation results, there is a key encryption key. It then says, okay, well, I'm going to fetch this credential for you, and I'm going to give you back the signing key for it as well. So I'm giving you everything. But this is the one that is useful when I have a bunch of replica workloads. They're indistinguishable. They have the same, from the point of view of the clients and servers, they're the same. Like lambdas or like containers or whatever. They're the horizontal scale out stuff, right? And the only thing that's not set here is the attester needs to set, or you need to be able to figure out based on the attester which of the credentials, right? So I have a myriad of possible attesters. Which credential do I give to which attester? This is not stated here right now. But the point is somehow the relying party can map whatever it is you gave it, whatever attestation results came its way, to the credential that the attester wants.
Mm.
So maybe the control plane hands the attester, here is your credential ID. Use remote attestation to fetch that. But credential ID is just, it's just an opaque number. So again, the way it's written, I'm happy to change it. The credential broker mode. The attester creates asymmetric encryption key, includes public portion evidence during remote attestation. So that's boilerplate text. The attester receives from the RATS relying party a pre-provisioned credential. Um,
Oh, maybe this is okay. So I think every variant should have a goal, or all variants share the same goal.
Well, they are the same goal as in it allows the attester to then have an identity that it can use to authenticate. That's the goal. Now, the
Okay.
identity can be a shared key, it can be a short-lived bearer token, or it could be a proof of possession credential.
Why does it have to be? And this is like a very very grounding question, but I just don't want to make any mistakes because I realize that we once talked past each other for a few weeks.
Mhm.
Why does it have to be a top credential?
Why?
What's the benefit of just this type of credential exists? Why can't it imply uh, proof of possession? Why does it have to be a proof of possession in there?
Well, so the reason you want proof of possession is because you want to know, okay, let me answer that way. Say I'm a server, and I want
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
know that my client is the tested client and nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have an assurance that it's the client used proof of possession authentication, and and there is some proof that the client isn't leaking its corresponding proof of possession, its signing key, then I can have the elevated level of trust in it. Right. And what confidential computing does, it basically says, well, unless I have a bug in my code, the tester code, the tester is going to hold on to its signing key and not just leak it. Right. So without trust execution environments, even certificate-based authentication, it's still in a sense a bearer token because the signing key can leak. And then whoever gets its hands on the signing key gets to use the certificate, right? Whereas with confidential computing, there is this, it's a step up in assurance level. And this is why I would like to prioritize proof of possession authentication for confidential computing. I'm forced to keep short-lived bearer tokens around. That's not what I.
Yeah, but by architecting this sensibly, right, you also enable a transition, right, from one to the other. Right. I mean, it makes it easier because people aren't like, oh, I can't go to a long-term thing because I can't trust it, but actually no, you can because anyway, yeah. Because now you're just re-explaining the long-term asymmetric credential. You're just saying, oh, it's kind of like a bearing token, but it's better, right? And they're like,
Well,
oh, okay, I
yeah.
like bearer tokens, right? And they're like, okay, good, you like bearer tokens, done. Right? You already have the protocol to get your bearer token. The fact that I give you something different, which you do different math with, is just a minor detail that some
Well,
people don't
so
need to
here's the
know.
thing. Remember the core use case is that my relying party, not the RAT's relying party, but what I call the RAT's unaware relying party, is this
Yeah.
existing thing. It's the
Yeah.
monolith. It's this unmovable entity that will not change.
Yeah.
If today it requires bearer tokens,
We do
I
that.
have no choice but to support it.
I just I just imagine you come home with this big, dog food bag that's marked bearer tokens, right? And it's like a dog in that if you leave them out on the kitchen counter, it eats them all and
That's
gets sick
right.
and pukes,
That's
right?
right. Needs to
Okay, so it's just like
needs
every
to
day I
be
have to
in
feed it
sealed
bearer tokens, and I
containers.
can't give
Yes,
it too many or it'll be sick, right?
that's right.
But my point is, what I'm trying to say is that the by introducing this protocol, you are creating a protocol where you are bringing home things in a bag that you feed to them, and
Yes.
at some point, it says it can never change until it does. But the point is that now can become it's a decoupled. The change from bearer token to asymmetric credential signing key is now only affects the contents of the TEE and not the rest of the architecture of the system, right? Because
Yes.
you've already got that protocol that delivers it. And so the change to the architecture is actually invisible. And that's what lets you potentially move in the future from A to B. And I think that's the important part.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I think so. So, okay, so variant two, and by the way, the reason I separated key broker and credential broker is that I'm in conversations with Whimsy and Spiffy, and these guys have a key broker and have a credential broker, and they seem to like be different things. And I want to make sure that we say, well,
Okay.
if something exists and it's a credential, then it's a credential broker. If something exists and it's a key broker. So again, let's just do a quick recap of 1A and 1B. So there is a key broker for proof of possession keys. So notice the asterisk here because there is something special about this case. In this case, the proof of possession credential is pre-provisioned to the attester. So the attester already has the certificate, but it can't use it because it doesn't have the signing key. Okay, so that's why the asterisk is here. I didn't want to add another column to this diagram because in no other case do we hand anything to the, well, maybe here we could give it a credential ID. But the point is,
So how do you know which key pair part you are talking about with asymmetric? So when I read key broker for proof of possession keys, and now the asterisk is without the asterisk, I would not be able to understand You mean there's
Yeah,
only
this
proof of
is right.
possession?
So Hank, your concern is completely correct. We need to be able to
Yeah,
tell the RAT's relying party, the broker, which of the possible keys do I actually want to get, or which of the credentials I want to get.
yeah,
So somebody needs to tell me, like, I woke up, I know, I know nothing. SVID would be a good piece of information to give me. Go, here. So if for instance, even here, I'm starting the workload and I say, here is your X59 certificate. So here's a subject name. This means that you can get the key for this certificate ID or like something that uniquely identifies the key that you want. So this is currently missing from the text. Okay, we can add it, we can talk about it, right? So let's put a pin in it for a second. Just because I'm acknowledging it's a valid concern, we'll make changes for it.
okay.
I will say, actually, so we don't forget proof of possession credential. I'm going to add a comment like right now. How to add a comment? The tester needs to know which particular credential or key it is asking for. Okay, so this way we won't forget. All right. So what we have here is there is a key broker for proof of possession keys, and there is a key broker for shared keys. This is my least favorite of all because shared keys are just shared bearer tokens, like long-lived bearer tokens. This
But
gives
they're
me all sorts
asymmetric
of
keys.
heartburn.
They're asymmetric keys that you do math with, as opposed to you just present them as a badge, which is
Uh,
case 3B, right?
they are actually symmetric keys here because there is no point having a shared key that's not symmetric.
So PSK, interestingly, has
Okay.
an old translation. Am I muted? No. And the old translation is pre-shared key, I think. And
Yeah.
the new one is pre-shared symmetric key, PSK, which is a little bit more specific. You're talking about pre-shared symmetric keys here, I assume, right?
Yes. So
Yeah,
secret
because
pre-shared
Okay.
because
key.
the ultimate rat's unaware relying party has a copy of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So secret pre-shared key encrypted with KK is what it returns.
Whereas a bearer token, um, the rat's unaware relying party actually could have done some math with that. That could be something it can
Well,
decrypt
the
and
only
pull
thing
something
that
out.
separates
But
them
that
is
but
is
that's
the
but that the attester has no idea. It just presents it.
correct. And but the thing is there is a saving grace on the short-lived bearer token, and that has an expiration time, where
Yeah.
pre-shared key does not.
Right.
This
Yeah.
so this
Yeah.
this gives me all sorts of heartburn, but hell, yeah, okay. Um, all right. So anyway, so there is a key broker for proof of possession keys, and then there is a key broker for shared keys. And again, in 1A, the key broker mode, the tester creates an asymmetric encryption key, includes file proportion. The tester receives from the RAT's relying party a secret pre-shared key encrypted to the KEK. That secret could, oh no, the secret key could be an asymmetric credential key, a proof of possession credential, or asymmetric for pre-shared key scenarios. So this is where we are. Again, this is not perfect, but at least it's a hint at a protocol. So if you want, I can accept these changes so we can at least know what else we needed to change.
Um, so where is the goal highlighted that the tester needs an identity document that can be trusted? Is it somehow introduced in intro, or
Well,
is it
let's
in
take a
the
look.
section? Oh,
Let's take a look for a
because
good place to add it.
yeah, I think so because this is kind of missing. I feel.
Well, we can put it in the abstract if you want, or we can put it into introduction.
It must be in both. So abstract is never think abstract. So abstract only is for document management systems and reviewers. So it must be. It can be an abstract can be an excerpt of the introduction. It can be the same paragraph as the first paragraph of the introduction. Nobody cares. I think introduction is the place to we have this. Where we really have to upfront say what problem is directly solved, and that is
Okay, so how
providing
about
the
we say testers require an identity, um, some form of an identity document, a key or a credential to authenticate to relate. And so maybe instead of this specification extends the RATS architecture to interoperate with RAPs by providing attesters with such identity documents, something like that. How does that sound? Hank?
I'm still
Okay,
digesting.
okay.
Sorry.
I wouldn't write. I don't think it extends the RATS architecture, but I know why you're writing that, so I'm okay. I already think it's included, but anyway.
Well, I mean, whatever
It's
issues
fine.
you
It's
have,
fine.
others will
I'm
have
just
too.
saying
So,
that I think you're making a bigger anyway.
or maybe we can say adapt the RAT. But the thing is, we're not changing the RATS architecture
No,
or
that's why I don't like the word
how the
extends. You're
RATS
actually
architecture
not
can be
changing it.
used.
You're actually uh uh implementing it or deploying it or applying it in your case. And I think it's just fine. But
How about this? So I
anyway.
just changed that. We can say the specification illustrates how the architecture, the RATS
Yeah, I'm
architecture can
very
be
much happier with
applied
that. That makes me
to
much happier.
interoperate with RAPs.
Yeah.
Okay. So in introduction, do we also want to say it?
Yes, that should be. It can be the same phrasing. If Mike is fine, we can just stash it somewhere here. It must be in the
Okay, so how about
introduction.
this? So for the RAPs these adoption barriers are eliminated as these RAPs are capable of authenticating their clients utilizing identity documents such as keys or credentials, including 29, Jotsa Whimsy with shared keys. So something like that.
Yeah, and what does it still doesn't tell you what the it is using them for and is these RAPs are capable of authenticating their clients utilizing okay, there we go. So that's here it was already a little bit okay. You're generalizing it with the symmetry. Okay, I'm fine with this. It's kind of late in the procedure, but okay. But it's in the abstract, so then you already know. Okay. So that the
Um,
reader would.
so we're not
Yeah, I
issuing
like.
credentials necessarily, we're issuing identity documents.
Yes.
Maybe identity document issuance mechanisms are replaced with so if identity document is your preferred terminology, this change takes care of it. And again, we can reread it once more for readability and how for the flow. But I want to make sure all the feedback is incorporated now. So from there, we go into, can we now get rid of your formatting, Michael?
As you wish. It's fine. Whatever you
Well, I
prefer.
mean, it can't carry into the.
I know, but well, it partly can. There's ways, but it doesn't matter.
I can keep it because ultimately, look, I think as we discussed, you will probably be the one,
Yeah.
converting it to GitHub.
I
So
think it's
just
just I just want to make sure that the emphasis and that people's eyes are clearly drawn to. As you said, some people are like, okay, does it include bearer tokens? It does. Okay, all right, then they're fine. Then they relax and start
okay.
thinking
So
rather
with 10
than.
minutes left, and before we continue on this, I just want to make sure we don't forget this other thing. I maybe my fear is overblown, but what if we wait too long and then the 2 hour slot at the ITF fills up and then we don't have time to present? Like, shouldn't we make some movement to go to Ned or someone there and basically say, look, make sure you give us 10 minutes?
You can certainly post now. You don't have to wait for him to ask for agenda items. Actually, it's good for him to know what's coming.
Okay. Do you think it's the same whether I message him or you do? Because
I
you
think it's
seem to
better
know
if you
him.
message him.
Okay.
And the
Okay.
reason is because people, well, we get bored, but it's the same people all over again. That's that expanding group is useful.
Okay. So
Yes.
do you want me to message the RAS mailing list or Ned individually?
The
The rat
chairs
mailing
individually.
list, whatever you think, Net Kank. Yeah,
I would
Well,
say
it's
the
just
chairs individually. Like there's a Reds dash chairs at email
yeah.
address.
Go for that. Yeah, with
and
CCs to us.
I'm not well, of course, I'm not on the Rats Chairs mailing list, but anyone from the
No,
outside can.
that's you're unicast. You're unidirecting into that,
Okay,
and
so
they'll get
I'll
it.
message
That's
Rats
all.
Chairs. I'll ask for 10 minutes. I think 10 minutes should be enough for this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can highlight that we are working on the submission before the submission date. So submission
Yeah,
cutoff
I
is
will say that we are on track to
yeah.
submit a draft, but wanted to make sure we have about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, I'll do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay, so I guess what I would like to ask for is it doesn't have to be right now, but before next week, take another pass through this, look at the security considerations, see what can be added there. I think we're really close, but there's still a few things remain. Like how do we know in the protocol? How does the tester know what to ask for? Because the relying party still also needs that information. Like, what am I looking for you? You just gave me some attestation results, but what credential or key are you actually looking for? Right? That needs to be answered.
Yeah.
So shouldn't the okay, but yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, let me think about this. We will discuss this next week then.
Right. Hmm. Okay. Well, in that
Anything else?
case, maybe not today, but I think we made great progress. Okay.
Yeah, and maybe I can dig for some security consideration. It is a compact IID, so that is easy and good. So that is nice for the working group to digest initially.
Yeah. Well, so I mentioned the security consideration of the fact that bearer tokens are bad. Like, I don't know how we're gonna say it. Shared keys are worse.
Uh, yeah, but we have deployment. So this is taking into account reality. Maybe there needs to be some reasoning why this exists in the first place. Because, yeah, we're talking about classical and legacy systems. And there
Well,
you
I mean,
go. That's
we beat that horse to death in the abstract and introduction. I
I
don't know
know.
how else it can be said.
Yeah, I know. It's good enough, I think. But the security considerations we have to reference, I think, existing security considerations to also. That's the easiest way to go with a blanket. Like, if you really want to do this, read this, and have to maybe figure out which security considerations that are.
Well, I mean, if your relying party uses bearer tokens or shared keys, it's it's already in the bad camp. But
Yeah,
buyer
Olaf probably
beware.
has some text about this somewhere, and so we can reference that.
Yeah,
I will have I will try to find something for this. It's on my
yeah,
task list.
yeah. Okay.
And now it's really on my task list.
All right. Thank you both. We'll reconvene next Tuesday. Feel free to take the pen to this document in the meantime, because again, now we are just a couple of weeks away from signing off. And I'll go spend
Yes.
the next 5 minutes penning the letter to Red's chairs. And then I also want to take this document to Whimsy. I'll talk to Pierre Castleman.
Okay. This document URL is linked in. I'm always struggling because I have way too many Google Doc documents. So I will
Okay,
want
so
to
here's the
find.
link. I'm gonna put it in the chat once more, so maybe you can bookmark it.
Yeah. I know. I don't know. I will not bookmark it. It is going to my notes because I think I made notes about this already, and I'm a little bit confused what my because Mark is a relatively unique item in my task list, and I'm a little bit confused why I'm not. I find a lot of twice stuff, but not this year. Okay. It's my organization. It's not your problem. Thank you. I have it. Thank you.
All
Yeah,
right,
I now
sounds
have
good.
I learned that you can make tab groups and that you can close them and save them so they're not in the middle of your shit, and then you can reopen them
Uh,
all.
yeah, I know. Save all tabs into group. That is a thing that I
Well,
occasionally
no, but
use
yeah,
in
but
order to.
but I'm saying you can have many groups and you can then get rid of them when you're not um
Yeah. When
then
I need
you
an
don't they don't have
organization.
to be infesting your life. um Unfortunately in Firefox you can't sync them between computers, which you can in Chrome, but anyway.
Yeah. Okay, I will find a way. Thank you.
All right,
Bye.
thank you. See you next week.
Exactly. Bye bye.